Hello, welcome to this short video tutorial on how to approach and start writing a CMI Level 7 strategic assignment. My name is Brent and I'm the Training Director and one of the Senior Tutors at CMBD. Level 7 assignments are for people operating at a more senior level in an organisation or those who aspire to do so. They assume a basic knowledge of some of the management theories and principles and practice, but there aren't any specific entry requirements. The main issue that most people have to get their heads round is not so much the knowledge or the understanding. That can all come from completing learning journeys, doing research and acquiring the underpinning knowledge required. It's the assignment technique. Many people won't have done anything like this for a number of years or perhaps not done anything like this at all. And those who have done a degree will find it a very different approach. Most assignments should be written from a very personal experience viewpoint. Lots of examples of good and bad practice, your own personal experiences, and of course drawing your own conclusions from what you've observed and what you've researched. Level 7 assignments ask you to write about an organisation that you know well or that you've extensively researched. The obvious choice is your current organisation or business, or one that you have previously worked for. So let's get started. The examples of various documents that I'm going to show you are from Unit 701, which is the Strategic Management and Leadership Unit. Most people will choose to do this one either as an award or as part of a certificate or a diploma. It carries the greatest number of unit points, so it makes sense, particularly if you're doing one of the extended qualifications, to get this one under your belt. I will be following this introductory video with a detailed look at the various tasks in Unit 701, but the principles I'm going to talk about now apply to any of the Level 7 assignments. Before you start any assignment, you need 3 pieces of paper. And I genuinely do mean 3 pieces of paper. I find that printing these off is really good practice because you need to have them by your elbow as you're typing away on your laptop or your PC. The first document you need is the assignment brief template. This will be provided to you by your tutor in a Word document format, and it is what you should submit your work to your tutor on for feedback, and it's ultimately what we will submit to the CMI. That screenshot showed you the first couple of pages of the assignment brief for 701. There's some sort of general instructions and information on the first page. And then there's a table that breaks down the word count that you're allowed in each of the sections. Just a word about word count. For a Level 7 assignment, you're typically allowed 4,000 to 4,500 words. That doesn't include headings or an introduction that you might do, but it is quite crucial at Level 7 to stay pretty much within the word count where you can. You are allowed a sort of plus or minus tolerance of 10%. But your tutor will keep you on track as regards this. That second screenshot showed the 3rd and 4th pages of the assignment brief, where you could see some quite detailed instructions when you look at your own copy for task 1, task 2A and B, and etc. It's absolutely vital to read these carefully because they will give you very specific instructions on how to approach that particular task. However, it's not enough to simply read the instructions on the assignment brief. The assignment brief tells you very specifically to refer to the indicative content in the syllabus. The full syllabus is a huge document, so I don't recommend that you print the entire thing. However, what is worth printing is the specific pages that apply to the unit that you are doing. For Unit 701, for example, these are pages 21 to 26 inclusive, so that's a little bit more manageable. I mentioned 3 documents and we've now seen 2 of them. We've seen the assignment brief and we've seen the detailed guidance in the syllabus. And the 3rd document is what we call the command verb definitions. Another common piece of feedback that we give to people is that you haven't taken into consideration the command verb at the start of the question that you're answering. This may say critically appraise, it might say evaluate, it might say analyse or discuss. And what do these actually mean? Well, there is a full definition in that command verb descriptions document. As an example, if a question says critically evaluate, then, and I'm going to refer to the actual guidance, that means consider the strengths and weaknesses, arguments for and against, and or similarities or differences. The writer should then judge the evidence from the different perspectives and make a valid conclusion or reasoned judgment. Apply current research or theories to support the evaluation where applicable. Critical evaluation not only considers the evidence above, but also the strength of the evidence based on the validity of the method of evidence compilation. Now that's quite a mouthful, so in the videos that follow this, where I take a detailed look at the individual tasks within 701, I'll give some further explanation of how you use this guidance. Now, I've talked about 3 essential documents. That's the assignment brief, the syllabus, and the command verb definitions. But there is a 4th document that you may wish to use at some point. That last screenshot was of the first couple of pages of what we call the evidence booklet. It may be that in an assignment you wish to refer to an internal document or a mission statement or a policy or maybe evidence of quality control procedures. And as you are not allowed to have attachments on your assignment brief, this is where you would put that sort of information. Some of the assignments lend themselves quite nicely to that, particularly the one on quality and quality management systems. And other assignments, it's not quite so critical. Just a word about required reading, textbooks, where to get information from, etc. And in particular, the CMI's Management Direct resource, which you'll receive login details and activation instructions for when we register you with them for a qualification. It's worth doing the learning journey for the unit or the task that you're doing before you try and write the assignment. It provides a lot of sort of underpinning knowledge, background information, suggested things that you might want to think about using. I mean, for example, in 701, there's a case study on General Motors. Well, it makes a certain amount of sense if they've gone to the trouble of putting that there to perhaps compare your own organisation to the leadership style in that one. Management Direct also has a very good search facility, so you can put in a particular topic, and if there's anything on there that is going to possibly be of use to you, it will come up. In the syllabus, not only is there the indicative content, they very often will recommend a range of theorists or models perhaps that you might want to have a look at. Just because it's in there doesn't mean you have to use it. And of course there's Google and various other sources. Just remember, if you use anything, to make sure that you reference the original work, and a bit more about how to use the Microsoft inbuilt referencing facility when I look at individual tasks within 701. I'm often asked if there's a sort of recommended textbook. Now, if you're doing your qualification with CMBD, we will send you a pack of information that might be useful. And no, you don't really need to buy a textbook, but if you wanted to, a second-hand copy of what we affectionately call Hutch and Butch's organisational behaviour is not a bad idea. Now, that screenshot wasn't a particular reference or recommendation for World of Books, it just happened to be the one that came up when I googled it. That's edition 8, but edition 7 is fine, and you can often find them at Amazon or other sort of second-hand booksellers for just a few pounds. It's not a bad reference book. It's a nice thing to have by your side if you just want to dive in quickly and remind yourself of something, but it is optional. So let's try to bring this all together and do a little bit of a summary. CMI Level 7 assignments are at a strategic level. They're about the direction that organisations and businesses go in. They're about the leadership behaviours and styles and systems and processes required to bring about that bigger picture. They're not quite so much about the day-to-day operational aspects of the company. Ideally, you write about your own organisation and your own job role, using that to compare to other external examples or previous organisations that you've worked for. However, if you don't have that sort of background, you can research an organisation well and use that in your comparisons. I'm really serious when I say you need those 3 pieces of paper, those 3 documents. Without all 3 and without combining all the instructions, inevitably you're going to get something wrong. You might miss where it says use 2 examples, or you might miss a list of potential references that you can use. And the command verb definition is absolutely fundamental in the way in which you need to approach and format your answer. I hope you found this useful. What will follow now is a series of tutorials looking at specifically at the individual tasks within 701. Thank you for listening.